Welcome to this series of Drupal, mostly dedicated to Drupal 8. In a few videos we are going to install docker4drupal, explain why this is so great, install Drupal 8 on it and demonstrate the Redis caching on Drupal 8. And we explain why you should care. Today we are going to set up docker4drupal. So we got a lot to cover. My name is Paul Rijker, so let's get started. To begin with, I assume you already have installed Docker and Docker Compose. If not, look at the links at the bottom of this video to read how to do this. Okay, we are going to open a command prompt. I am on Linux, but it will basically be the same on a Mac. Sorry, I don't mention Windows, it's just not that great for me. Anyway, on the command prompt, I will start by cloning the docker4drupal repository. So I type git clone, git at github, what be docker4drupal.git, and I name my folder my_demo. This will clone the docker4drupal repository into a folder called my demo. We will go in there and explore the contents. So I type cd my_demo and ls-la. As we can see, there are several files in there. But the only one for now that is important is the docker-compose.yml file. This is a file in YAML format describing the services. So let's open it up and see what's in it. I use Sublime as my text editor, so I type subl docker-compose.yml. Depending on what version you are using, your file should look fairly the same. We can see that there are so-called services and they have parameters and key values. For example, the first service is the MariaDB service. It is used for the database. I personally prefer to manage volumes myself, so the first thing I'm going to change is the volumes parameter. Okay, I'm going to change line number 13, remove the hash in the front and change this into --./MariaDB/. What this is going to do, instead of storing the files within the container, it will store the files on the file system of my host operating system in the folder MariaDB relatively to the root, so I can back them up or whatever, can do with it without losing them. The second thing I want to change is the PHP image. There are two types of images. The ones with the pre-installed vanilla Drupal inside the PHP container and the ones that use the file system of the host as the document root. Again, I prefer to store the files outside of the container, basically because I can edit them then with my favorite local editor. To do so, we have to change the image to be used, so we comment out the pre-installed image and we activate the line with Drupal PHP. In this case I use PHP version 7.1. At last, to tell the container where to look for the files, we have to change the volume here as well. We set it to map to the current root instead of the code base. The only thing we need to change is to set the volume of the nginx server to the local root as well. Notice that the key nginx _server_root is pointing to var www.html/web. Because we mapped var www.html to our root, nginx will look for the files in ./web, and that's exactly what we want. There are some other services that are commented out, and mostly they aren't as relevant to development environments as the ones we've seen so far. The only one we also want for later demonstration is the Redis server, so we remove the comment from these two lines. Okay, let's save our work and spin up the containers. So I type docker-compose up-d, which means they're going to run as a daemon in the background. If this is the first time you use a specific image, it might take a moment to download. I already did this to test so my containers are up pretty fast. Let's do an ls-la again. Notice the MariaDB folder created by the container right there where we told it to. In fact, you can store them anywhere on your file system, wherever you like. I like to keep them close to the site that I am developing. Also notice there's no web directory in there yet. Let us quickly create one and add an index.php file in it, just to test if we are ready to roll. First thing first, we have to change the permissions of the doc root. I don't know exactly why, but the group alpine www data has no right permissions on it. And we are a member of that group, so we have to change that. We changed it with sudo changemod 0775 dot. Notice the dot at the end. Now that we have right permissions, we can create a folder and an index.php file. We're gonna do mkdir web, cd web, sublime index.php, and I'm going to request php info. So save, and I go to my browser, and then I go to drupal.docker.localhost 8000. That's the port where the container is listening. And voila, we got our nginx and PHP container tested. In the next video we are going to install Drupal on it. My name was Paul Rijke. I hope to see you next time. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If not, please let me know why and how I can improve it.